Previously on Parodic Central.
Oh no.
And now, the conclusion.
It's time to build a cat tree. Hey, wait a minute, we've been doing that for a while. No, literally, we're gonna be building it now. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have the long post right here. And the 12-inch post will be here, the 24-inch post will be here, 36-inch post will be here. So if you do the math, yes, this is the 48-inch post. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of just center it, because we want the steps to basically be, I mean, this isn't scientific, but, let's slide this through. Okay. We're using this as a scribing post, if you will. Not to mention it helps me do this. So that looks good, this way and this way. And if you do this, that just looks good, period. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this post up and over it. That way it stays in there. Take a black marker, and this is where you don't make mistakes, otherwise you're doomed, because you'll have to redo your base. So you got that circle marked. Okay, and now the bottom of these, of course, has the carpet right there. So you're going to want the post to basically sit somewhere right about here when the step actually comes up. So I'm just going to show you what I'm doing here using Mr. Ruler. So this should be about 8 inches. Yep, 8 inches. So it's like I memorized it, because I did. So we're going to take this and we're going to run it to about 8 inches, and we're going to put the post right there. And now here's the trick. Okay, so 8 inches there, but to the edge we're looking at 4 1/4. Yeah, so you'll want to nudge it this way until it's 4 1/4. Good enough, and good enough. Now it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, because when you go to put the step on, if this post is not quite lined up with this one, well, you still got a little play back and forth on this when you stick this on there, right? And I can't stress this enough. This is just a piece I'm using for marking. I'm not actually using this. So, oh, see, it moved. That's not good. Cool. Oh, and I almost died. Okay. Now we're gonna do the same thing for over here. And happy with that? Yep. Okay, so 8 inches. What else is 8 inches? 8-inch ruler. 12-inch sub from Subway.
And that's a second-degree burn.
Oh, I don't even have to move anything. That is absolutely perfect. And we'll go back here in case it did move. Guess what? Things just move when you're not looking. Even when you're looking right at it. Like when you're staring at the sun without special glasses, like some world leaders have done in the past. Okay. Apparently this marker's starting to peter out on me.
Maybe you could join PETA.
Join me for what? No, PETA, the organization.
What organization?
PETA.
What?
Good. Now, here's the tricky part. So obviously, this is going to be 8 inches for the 24-inch post. But we got to get this centered. So we're going to do some advanced trigonometry here. 5 inches. And let's go this way a little bit. It's basically 5 1/4. That's got to go out a little bit. No, this is not trigonometry. Someone in the comments section is probably already losing their cackers. No, a little bit more that way. Believe it or not, this actually matters. Matters to me anyway. So looks like about 5 1/4 there. And we're looking at, yeah. And one last check on the 8 inch. Beauty. Okay. Oh, I can see how that's going to try and move on me. These are not Sharpie brand Sharpies. These are the big box office store Sharpies because they're cheap and I don't care what happens to them. Okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4.
I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. I can only count to. Sorry.
Now let's cut them. I guess we should probably find Dr. Kniffy again. He's always walking off. Where is he? There, nice and sharp. I cut on the outside of the circles because I said so. Also because it just works out better that way. One circle. I do this just to scrub off all the excess carpet because otherwise it'll interfere with the project and that sucks. Okay, now we just get rid of all this extra fluff. If you don't get rid of it now, you'll have to get rid of it later. And getting rid of it later might actually mean having to crawl through a cat tree. I don't want to do that. You're not going to get all of it anyway, so you might as well get as much as you can. All right, let's add some posts. Oh, hey! Wasn't sure if you were still with us. All right, so, let's just slide this over here a little bit. So what we got here is all the posts on. And the funny thing is, as you saw, I just ran one screw for now. We will finish that with more screws just to make it that much more sturdy. Look how sturdy this already is. Like, the longer posts, yeah, a little bit of a slop to them, but that's the base just rocking back and forth at that point. There's always going to be flex, but these are already super solid. But we have got to put a step on these things. Let's get it done. So now we're going to add some L brackets. L, the letter L. And we're going to offset it. So notice this would be like centered. We're going to offset it just a little bit. And the reason for that is so that it's easier to reach with the drill. How do I know that? Well, I just do. We're going to use some 5/8 screws for this part. Believe it or not. And of course, just enough snug to get them on there. You don't want to strip the wood. Okay. Now we're going to have to do that times 3, but you're only going to see one of these. Now, to install it, we're going to have to show you that process. All right, let's slide this down. Funny how quickly these go together once you got it, you know? So we're gonna do something here. We're gonna make sure that that it's kind of even with the edge here. It might mean that it's not quite centered underneath here, but that's okay. As long as you got it like kind of close to the edge of your cat tree, that's all that I'm really worried about. Okay. So one screw here. How are we doing on power here? Well, it's not bad. And one angled the other way. Okay. Now, we want to make sure that this is going to be level. Why? Because I'm a weirdo. So the base is definitely level because the table's level, because I built the table level. So you want to, good. We'll take one of these 1 1/4 inch screws and notice that the drill fits in just right. Come on. We'll get one more in there and then you'll see that we have a step. A level step. Is it level this way? Sometimes the carpet makes it look like it's not level. Oh yeah, she's level. Pow! Now we got to do all the other steps. You'll notice there's a gap right there and right there between the step and the next post. So that's on purpose, and it's kind of a quality control thing. I kind of get to make it so that, you know, it just looks better that way. So, for those that were paying attention, you're probably thinking, hey, he didn't put the rest of those screws on the bottom. Well, that's where we're going to do that right now. So this is the middle post, the 24-incher. So we're going to throw in 3 screws. There's already a middle screw, right? But we're going to put 3 screws in, and they're going to be coming in from different angles. And as I've done with the scratching post, the point of that is stability. What do you mean stability? Well, if you've got all your screws, let's see, I'm trying to find the camera here. If you've got all your screws going in all the same way, they're all going to bend the same way, right? But if you've got one screw going in the middle, then one coming in this way, one coming in this way, one coming in this way, it doesn't matter which way that post rocks now, it's actually going to have that stability to stop it from moving. So we're going to do the rest of these. Now, the engineers watching this, all 3 of you, you might be saying, that actually doesn't really do anything. Well, you know what? You're not building cat trees, I am, so take that. It's trying to fall off the table. And I definitely bury those screws into the plywood because otherwise you got screws sticking out and potentially some upset clients when they go, hey, your cat tree wrecked my floor. But I'm still gonna make sure the little burrs, the wood burrs sticking out are buried. I'm actually gonna hit the screw just a little bit more. Now there's another step that we need to do here before we permanently flip this tree over and finish it. We must not forget the skid pads that we put underneath. We must never forget. Unless of course the client specifically says don't put these on, because they might just be putting this on carpet anyway, but I put them pretty much 1/2 inch from the edges. Hot glue works really good for that. I used to use staples, and the problem with staples is of course if they stick out, it could damage the floor. I was tapping them in with a hammer to make sure that they were in there, but you know, doesn't always work out. This is of course just carpet tile. I realize it looks like a tiny little carpet tile, and that's exactly what it is. I just cut up a whole bunch of pieces of carpet tile into smaller pieces. I have a source for carpet tile, actually a couple sources in town. One of them is a purchased place, and one of them is an architectural firm. They just get carpet tile samples and they throw them out eventually. Well, they don't throw them out now. They contact me and say, hey, we got a whole bunch more. And then I go, okay, I will come get them, because I can use them for all kinds of crap like this. Because normally they're probably worth about $4 each. And that's kind of a costly maneuver if you're using them for something like this. There is other uses for them, of course, but good. Now it can sit on the floor without wrecking the floor. I bet you're wondering, hey, what about these bare posts that go all the way up? Well, I've got the carpet cut now. This is pretty much the second to last step as far as the actual building of the cat tree goes. There's a final step, of course, but that step will happen very, very last. And anyway, so what I like to do is I like to assume I like to think that this is probably going to be around the back of the tree, so I will attach it accordingly. And you know, you see the staple marks a little bit, but not the end of the world. So that's one of them, and so on and so forth. I'll show you this one. There it is. And the rest of them I'll just do, and then you'll see the end product. All right, so this is the last major step. We're putting on the tray. Now the way the tray is going to work is the cats are going to go up the steps, they're going to get to here, and they're going to hop onto the tray. So we need to figure out where we want the tray to sit. And we're gonna line it up with the base of the tree and try and do that as good as we can. You don't really need a gusset to hold it, to brace it underneath, because once you get the screws into the post, it's not going anywhere. So pretty happy with where it is right there. I'm actually just gonna do this, and that should mark where my post is going to go. Now, we're going to need to mark it, and we're going to need to actually cut it. So let's do that. Okay, so we got an indent in the carpet so that we know where the post is supposed to go. But now we're actually going to give it a quick and dirty little marking. All right. Dr. Kniffy. Now this can get a little tricky. And by tricky, I mean sometimes things don't work out exactly as you hoped. And by that I mean, get to the point, right? First of all, we're going to hit this with staples. That way, nice and snug, nice and tight. Okay, so now that we got the hole, nice hole there, we are going to do a dry fit. Make sure that you're not pinching the carpet underneath it. Otherwise you will get a slight unlevel surface. And I am eyeballing it, but I'm making sure that it's kind of lining up with the step there, because that's kind of how you want to do that. So we're going to check it with the level. It is, well, let's just give it a little press there. The carpet tends to not make it as level looking. Perfect. That's what you want. Well, that's what I want. Now, the fun part is you have to find out where the screw's actually going in. So you can see the post right there. Pretty much the middle right there. Start it into the carpet and run it in. This is your last chance here. Oops. This is your last chance to actually make sure that it's, because you can actually kind of spin it just a little bit. And just making sure that it's close to the base. Now, like the other parts where I do screws from different angles, I'm going to do the same thing here. There it is. Of course, I always check with the level after the fact because contents shift during shipping, whatever you want to say. So, there you go. Nice and sturdy. Can't really move it. That's the whole point. How about the big reveal? The big reveal. Thank you for watching the conclusion of this video on how to build a steps tree. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, click that bell, and I'll see you in the next video.